my dollars make it hurt.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Everybody, what is going on tonight? Welcome once again to the Big Time Show podcast that, of course, is being seen and heard live. It is live right now on Podbean, the original home of this podcast, and it is on Facebook and YouTube in a variety of ways. Number one, it is on the Sports Empire Network page, which is the second home of the podcast. It is also being seen on Facebook on my personal page, as well as the Big Time Show page that is on Facebook. It is also being seen on my YouTube page, as well as the Sports Empire Network YouTube page, but on my personal page, which is, of course, on YouTube, the Big Time Show YouTube page is being seen on Twitch now and on Twitter as well. Give me for the brain right there. I lost it just a little bit, but it is being seen and heard there as well. And then, of course, later on, after the show is uploaded, we can be heard on Spotify and Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora, LinkedIn, all of those ways that you can listen to the show. We're just everywhere, just trying to get the voice out as much as possible. What's going on tonight? Good to have you. It is Monday night. It is 7 p.m. That means that it's time for the Big Time Show podcast. We're going to go at it again tonight, without a doubt. Well, before we get started, I ask that some of you guys would share, if you don't mind. Would you share, please, as well as if you're interested in supporting the podcast in a small financial way, you can do that by on the Facebook pages. You can see the stars on my Big Time Show and my personal page. You can see that. You can contribute by stars. And if you're on my YouTube page, which is the Big Time Show YouTube page, you can do the super chat, which is right there. Once you do the super chat, I will stop my conversation, read your super chat right then and there. So I appreciate you guys popping on with me tonight. Big night tonight, especially if you're a Denver Nugget fan. I got to realize that I'm talking to people that are across the country sometime, and I'm not just necessarily Memphis, because there are no Denver Nugget fans here in Memphis. And Memphis is known as a bandwagon city. So I don't even want to hear nobody from Memphis talking about they was a Denver Nugget fan. When the Nuggets win tonight, I don't even want to hear it. No. There's no Denver Nugget fans here in Memphis. I don't even want to hear it. Now, across the country, wherever you are right now, I don't know what team you like and what team you represent or whatever, but um, I would not allow the bandwagon to go on so much. I can't stand it. I've been a Denver Nugget fan all my life. Name any player, other than the Joker and Murray. Just name any player. Uh, just name anybody, and then you will know that there's not too many that can answer the question. So, uh, again, the Nuggets should win tonight and become world champions. That's all I got to say about that. Tonight, I want to talk about, and I want to speak to folks. Let me see who's here. Hey, what's up, Ahmad? I see you, brother. I appreciate you popping in. You're in Mississippi. You right next door to me then. Man, we got to find out where you at, man. I mean, you right next door. What part of Mississippi do you live in? Before I move, what part of Mississippi do you live in? We got the Mississippi Cowboys. That's the South, buddy. Cowboy fans everywhere. Come on, man. We everywhere. Every state got Cowboy fans in every state. It's just no question about that. We everywhere. You can't escape us. We just dominate. We every place. Again, give me that city while I move. Listen, tonight I want to have a no doubt conversation. It's very rare when we talk about the Cowboys that there are some conversations that you just don't have to put a lot into. You don't have to wonder. You don't have to speculate. You don't have to do none of this. What I'm talking about tonight. What's up, Mike? I see you, brother. This area that I'm going to talk about tonight, from most Cowboy fans and pundits, I may add, there is no question that what I'm getting ready to talk about tonight, what's up, Kush? There's no doubt that this conversation should be a pretty good one tonight, because I have no doubt in my mind that the Dallas Cowboys this year, unless somebody gets hurt, which is a possibility, of course, but as of right now, the Dallas Cowboys, in my view, have the best secondary, that means safety and cornerbacks, in the entire NFL as a collective group. You can't name me a team that is loaded in the secondary like the Dallas Cowboys. It's no question in my mind. You can't. There's just no way. You have to name your team, and I'm saying you first of all have to start. And I'm not talking corners tonight. I'm talking safeties tonight. But as a whole, you can't name me probably two better than Gilmore and Diggs at the cornerback position. I ain't even got into Bland and Jordan Lewis, and I'm just saying you're starting two cornerbacks. You cannot name me a better tandem. And if you do, it's not a lot of teams. There's an argument that could be made for maybe the Philadelphia's guys there, Bradbury and Slay, I'm sorry, as cornerbacks, a better tandem in the league, better than that. I guess maybe some would say Jalen Ramsey and Howard from Miami. That's a pretty good one. Those are two better. What's up, Kyle? Those are two legitimate, cornerbacks. But as far as cornerback goes, tandem, you can't really name too many better than Gilmore and Diggs. It's just no question. You might get away with maybe Miami, Ramsey and Howard, maybe that might be on Philly, Slay, and Granberry. I don't know about that, but you may just name one that may be better than the Cowboys. That just depends on how you look at it. I don't think that they're better than us. But see, that's not all the secondary. When you add in the entire secondary, starters, not the guys off the bench, I'm just talking about starters. When you add in, and we play 3 safeties sometimes, a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and go with 3 safeties on this. Because one of them can play nickel as well. When you go Donovan Wilson, Javon Curse, and Malik Hooker, and add that to Diggs and Gilmore, there is no better secondary in the entire NFL than that. No way. You can't name me one. I haven't even gotten into, like I said, the bench players. If you want to call them bench players. I'm not, hey Kevin, I'm not even talking about Blaine and Jordan Lewis and all some of these guys, and even the kid Eric Scott, who's getting a lot of publicity right now. I'm not even talking about these guys. I'm just talking about your starters. Your starting, whether you go 2 safeties or you go 3. Because Kirk can play outside linebacker and nickel defense. And most teams, now, the way the NFL set up, most teams, the nickel is almost base defense almost now. So at times, we're going to have all three safeties in with Gilmore and Diggs. You're going to have to show me a team that has a more complete secondary than us. I'm just going in and say it right now. And I think they're going to prove it this year. The Dallas Cowboys, just from my view, this is one of these top podcasts I get to poke my chest out today. Because I just do not see no team that has a better secondary than the Dallas Cowboys. Which means it's a lot of potential greatness in the air when you mix that in with the pass rush that we got. And this is not just being a Cowboy fan. I mean, and I got some guys in here that's not Cowboy fans. That's fine. Show me a secondary, a complete secondary that is better than the Cowboys. Now some going to say, well, they ain't played yet, and we don't know what Gil. I'll give you a little credence on it. I will. I will have to say that too. But based off what you know about Gilmore, based off what you know about Diggs, Donovan Wilson, Lee Hooker, and Javon Curse, you're going to have to show me a team that is better in the secondary, the back end of the defense, that is better than the Dallas Cowboys. When you have that type of back end, when you have this type of back end secondary, you're gonna shut some teams down. And let's be honest now. Let's be honest. Based off of what some of these teams have, as far as receiver and tight end goes, you better have a secondary like this. Because there are some teams that are loaded. Philadelphia is loaded. The Kansas City Chiefs are loaded. The Miami Dolphins are loaded. Receiver and tight end wise. And I know I'm leaving out of it. I'm just going off the top of my head. There are some teams, depending on injuries, the Baltimore Ravens have a chance to be incredibly dangerous as well. I mean, there are some teams out here that can really give you a lot of mismatch problems because of the personnel that they have. Yeah, exactly. The Chargers, yes, sir. The Chargers are another team that is loaded. Uh, Tight end wise, wide receiver wise. So when you get teams like this, and we're playing the Chargers this year, okay, we're playing them, and if you're talking about winning the Super Bowl or have a chance at it, it's a good chance that you probably are going from the AFC side. Let me throw this one in. The Jets are pretty loaded too. You're gonna have a secondary that can match up with some of these guys. And I really believe we check all the boxes now with the way that we can match up with anybody. I just feel like that. I think that quarterbacks are going to be incredibly cautious this year because Gilmore can hurt you, and we all know what Diggs can do. But you got two. I mean, pick which side you going to. If you come in the middle, Hurts is an outstanding guy. Curtis is an outstanding guy. Hooker is dangerous. We all know what Donovan Wilson can do. He's the enforcer of the defense. So I'm saying, and we ain't talk about Jordan Lewis and Kelvin Joseph and these guys that are gonna get some time in. Once you throw that in, look what you got on the bench. You got a Jordan Lewis, you got a Kelvin Joseph. You got a Bland, and now from what they all saying, this kid Eric Scott is the deal, real deal. I mean, this team is loaded, and when you mix in, as I just said before, when you mix in the pass rush that we have, the ball is gonna come out quicker because you don't want to take the sack. This is where the turnovers come in. And we all know we got some ball hawking guys. I can see a lot of damage. I can see it. I can really see it this year. Now, I've already told y'all that I think the Dallas Cowboys defense is going to be a top 3 defense in the league. And now some that are already saying that they got a shot to be the number 1 defense in the league. I totally agree. I do. Because we check every box. Well, except one that remains to be seen. And that is, of course, how will we do against the run? That's the question. We addressed that with Mozzie. It is what it is. We're going to have to see. If we stop the run, this team gonna be in trouble. It's really gonna be difficult if we can stop the run consistently. We're gonna cause a lot of problems, man. I believe this defense is gonna win a lot of games. I'm not talking about the linebackers yet. I ain't talking about the D line. I really ain't talking about it. I'm really just focusing in on the back end. See, last year, the weak link was, if you want to call it that, was Anthony Brown. Teams didn't mess with Diggs. They messed with Anthony Brown, and let's just be honest, most teams were, successful. Overall, Anthony Brown seemed always to be, he always seemed to be, we saw the back of his jersey chasing somebody. He had a, pretty decent year the year before. Pro Football Focus had him, better than what we thought. But let's just be honest. There is a difference between Anthony Brown and Gilmore. I mean, I'm just calling it like it is. It's a big difference. Oh, yeah. It's a tremendous difference. And I just believe that Diggs is just going to be Diggs. So we know what we got secondary-wise. And because of that, I have no question in my mind, for real, y'all. Even if somebody get hurt, I'm saying these guys can fill in. these guys can fill in, and I don't think it's a real drop off. I really don't. I mean, whoever goes down, that next guy coming up, that's the one that's gonna get picked on. But if Bland comes in and play outside, I'm saying you gotta even be careful with Bland out there. You just can't say, oh, Gilmore Diggs out, Bland is out there, we're gonna pick on him. No, you just can't. Just can't pick on Bland. See what I'm saying? I don't see a lot of drop off. Now, I do have an interesting thought, however. First of all, I want y'all to look at this with me. I want y'all to look at this with me. This is, as of right now, this is the depth chart as of right now for, I hope you guys can see that. I think you can. But if you can't, I'm going to spread out just a little bit more. Yeah. There we go. That should take care of you. Let's look at the defense. I really not concentrating on the entire defense. This is what the Cowboys defense, the depth chart is as of right now when they closed up shop for the OTAs. What I really want to focus on is the secondary. And I have a disagreement right off the top, but as I said before, we played 3 safeties, and of course, this is where the drama may come in right here. Let's start out with strong safety. Now, this is the part where I hope the politics don't come into play. You see they have Donovan Wilson as the starter, right? Look who right behind him. Javon Curse. Okay. Well, follow the money. Donovan Wilson is he's getting paid now, of course. And he's there, as you can see. I hope that's not it. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, well, Javon Curse is the truth. Now, I know I said earlier we play 3 safeties sometimes. So I get that. I get that. See what I'm saying? And if that's the case, then we'll eliminate this. But as of now, they have him listed as the number 1 strong safety. All right. Let's go down to free safety, as you can see. You got Malik Hooker there. That makes 100% sense. He should be there. Okay. He should be the starting free safety. No question about it. I think that's a smart decision. Obviously, he's earned the right, of course, to be there. Okay. But look right behind him. I ain't brought up Israel. I ain't brought him up yet. See what I'm saying? I ain't even talked about him. And he turned up really well last year at the latter end of the season. He was he was playing pretty well. Interesting. All right. I had no argument there. However, with the free safety position, there's another name that has been kind of introduced as saying he's had a great camp. We think we found out where he's supposed to be at, and that is right here, and that's Kelvin Joseph. Whether you know it or not, ladies and gentlemen, Kelvin Joseph is supposed to also play safety this year. And I've said that last year that I think that he would be a dynamic safety. I mean, really. I think he would be definitely a better safety than he would be a cornerback. But he has the ability to do both. I think he's going to shine at safety. He hits, he can cover, He's big. He can do that. So it's gonna be interesting. What's up, Joe? I see you. It's gonna be interesting to see how all of this kind of intertwines, especially since Kelvin Joseph. Because you see, here's again, you got to follow the money because they have to make sure Kelvin Joseph is worth holding on to. Because I don't think Malik Hooker is going to be here too much longer, as well as he's played. There's a question that can be made even about Javon Curse. I believe Wilson is the fan favorite now. I know Javon signed the deal a couple years ago, but I'm saying the 3 safety look is what we're going with now. Now here's another one. Now that we're looking at it, look right here in Marquise Bell, who can't get on the field because all these other guys there. Marquise Bell can play. Y'all hear me? Marquise Bell will knock your head off. Marquise Bell can cover. He is a solid tackler. He just ain't got on the field. He just can't get there. Let's look at the cornerback position. Now, this is where I think the battle gonna come in. We know Diggs is our cornerback. That's right cornerback. Let's go up a little bit. You see Gilmore at left cornerback starter. You got Nashawn Wright. I forgot about him. Nashawn Wright is listed as his backup. And then they got Kelvin Joseph down as the backup for Diggs. I think that this kid right here, they're trying to pump him up, Eric Scott, and the ones that you see in dark green, they are the rookies. All right. So I think Kelvin Joseph is going to transition to safety. And I believe this kid, Eric Scott, has got a real good shot at taking that second spot from Kelvin Joseph, only because Boss Man Fat, of course, is going to try to go to safety. However, you see Jordan Lewis, and this is where the real battle is going to be as we get ready to go to training camp. It's going to be right there. The nickelback. Jordan Lewis versus Bland. Now, Bland had a super year last year, as we all know. But let's not forget how well Jordan Lewis plays. Jordan Lewis is one of our best blitzers, if you remember. He can flat out get to the quarterback from that slot position and be incredibly effective. But Jordan Lewis, of course, has been hurt lately and consistently hurt. Bland is a kid that you don't want to stunt his growth. If he had a year like he had last year, then what are you expecting him to do next year, this year, coming up year? You don't want to stunt his growth at all. So that's going to be a very interesting one. And you hope politics don't come into play. You hope that I don't think Dan Quinn would do that, but you just never know. But when you look at this secondary, when you look from Gilmore, Nashawn Wright, Goodwin, who's our special teams ace. Let's throw that one in about Kelvin Joseph as well. Kelvin Joseph played outstanding special teams last year. And I got a feeling he'll be there this year. But when you throw in Goodwin for special teams, he won't hardly ever get on the field on defense. But when you look at this secondary, Gilmore, Nashawn Wright, Donovan Wilson, Curse, when you go with Hooker and Israel, Trayvon Diggs, Kelvin Joseph, Eric Scott, Jordan Lewis, Bland, man, listen to me. Show me a better secondary collective. I just said the starters, but when you add in the second team, some of these second team guys will be starters on a lot of other teams. Oh, there's no question about that. There's no question. When you look at this team, the secondary, just the secondary, corners and safeties. When you look at it, and I said I was just talking about safeties tonight, but because most of the guys can play both. Let's just look here. I'm going down the list. There's 4. Israel can play corner and safety. Kevin Joseph can play corner and safety. I believe that was the only 2. Jordan Lewis, he hadn't done it, but I believe Jordan Lewis can do it, but he hadn't done it. So we got flex, as the Cowboys love. We got a lot of flex here. Now let's go to Curse. Curse can play safety and linebacker, outside linebacker. We know this. We've seen that. Donovan Wilson plays safety, and then he plays in the box a lot. I mean, look at all this flexibility we get. Diggs has lined up in the slot before. Diggs, if you want to lock somebody up, Diggs can go there and you can put somebody else outside. It's still effective. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Gilmore traveled when he was in New England. So I believe Gilmore lined up on all these guys, even when he was with the Colts. He just lined up wherever stayed on his assignment. Wherever they lined up, he lined up. So he has the ability to play a little slot as well. I mean, you can't. This is. They have done an outstanding job of covering their tracks as far as a secondary goes. Oh, it's no question in my mind. None. And you're going to have to show me a team. And if you do find a team, and I'm not saying it's not, but you're going to have to find me a team that's better than this as far as secondary goes, collectively. You're going to have to show me. And if you show me, it ain't going to be no more than maybe 1. 1 or 2, maybe 2. Maybe 2. Maybe not, I can't find one collectively. Now, I'm almost done because I'm going to let y'all guys watch the finals if you're interested. Here's the thing, though, that has me slightly puzzled. And for y'all football guys that think y'all know the game now, let's talk real quick. Because I'm thinking Dan Quinn. All right? I'm thinking Dan Quinn. And Dan Quinn, as a coordinator, has a world championship ring on his finger because of the Seattle Seahawks. He went to 2 Super Bowls as a defensive coordinator. Won one and lost one. He went to the Super Bowl as a head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, and of course blowed that gigantic lead to Brady in the Super Bowl. But here's the bottom line. He's been to 3 Super Bowls. That tell you he know what he's doing. Can we all agree on that? Yeah, I know he lost to Brady. I know there was an incredible comeback and all that. I get it. But he took a team, the Atlanta Falcons, to the Super Bowl. He did that. He had the Legion of Boom defense. That was arguably one of the better defenses the whole league has ever seen. Ever. And the claim to fame of his defenses was his secondary. He had Browner at one corner. He had Richard Sherman at the other corner. Then he had Earl Thomas at free safety. And then, of course, he had the great Cam Chancellor as a strong safety, the intimidator. Here's what I'm about to tell y'all. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying some of these guys are these guys. But I am going to say I'm starting to see some similarities. For instance, let's try this one out. If you are old enough to remember, or you watched the Seahawks back then, And I brought up the name Cam Chancellor. Right then and there, you just got to chill down your spine because you know what Cam Chancellor used to do. Cam Chancellor was a flat-out intimidator. He would knock your head off. He was a hit machine, a hitting machine. That's what he was. You didn't hear a lot of about interceptions, even though he got a few. But what he was an enforcer of the defense. Kind of slightly remind you of Donovan Wilson, don't it? It kind of does, don't it? Donovan Wilson plays like Cam Chancellor. I'm not saying he is Cam Chancellor. I know I got some haters over here. I'm the type I got to correct myself real quick, folks. I'm not saying he's Cam Chancellor. But what I am saying is Donovan Wilson is a problem for offenses. He's a serious problem for offenses. And he's starting to do that. We don't have a safety. Malik Hooker used to be like that. But injuries that have gotten him, messed him up. But we don't have nobody like Earl Thomas was. Earl Thomas was just different, special. But Malik Hooker can get the job done. There ain't no question about that. The Seahawks ain't never had two corners that were this good. Richard Sherman was good. Browner was pretty good too, but he wasn't, first team all pro type dude. I think he made a Pro Bowl or whatever. But he wasn't like Diggs or Gilmore. But they were dominant though. But here's the part that I want to share with y'all, and I just want to see what y'all gonna do. And it's this. Dan Quinn primarily ran in Seattle a cover 3 defense. Now, I know some of y'all don't know it about that, but here, this is what we're going to talk about it tonight. We're going to talk about this tonight. Let me, hold on a second. Let me get this right. And then I'll share with you what we're talking about. All right. Let's do this. He ran a cover 3 defense. That's for those who don't know. Let's look at it tonight. Look at it together. This is what the cover 3 was. Cover 3 this is from Joe Lewis. It was in 2019. And I think this is the best. I kind of tried to find the one that was basic that we can understand. This is what the cover 3 was. And first of all, he ran a zone. Now, the cover 3 is a zone defense. This was the basic formation that the guys had. All right. Cover 3 zone is a standard defensive scheme for the secondaries and linebackers on all levels of football. Whatever. Let's keep rolling. As the name implies, the cover 3 zone deploys 3 deep defensive backs to cover their respective thirds of the field. And the basic philosophy behind the cover 3 zone is to provide a good balance of run and pass defense by providing more deep defenders than the cover 2 zone. This defensive scheme makes it more difficult for teams that focus on long passes to come over big plays down the field. So let's look at it. This is the field. This is the offense. Linebackers would have this flat curl responsibility. Here's the big hole right here. You got to have a real nice athletic middle linebacker that can cover ground, which we do have in LVE because he can run. We throw that in. Then you have your corners who would back up and be, 10, 12 yards off the ball and don't let nobody really get behind them. And then you got this one free safety back here. And your strong safety would be somewhere down in this area here at the whole part with the linebacker. This is what won the world championship for Dan Quinn. All right. Now, some of you saw that hole there, and obviously you'll be saying, okay, well, the weakness is here, where the hole is. I agree. But here it is. Listen, let's just look at it. Here's the strength of it. The scheme has great strengths, including a balanced defensive philosophy against the run and pass. There are 3 deep defenders, okay, which means less ground for them to cover compared to a cover 2. So if you got one hash, 2 safeties got the hash, and 3 safety got kind of middle, he doesn't have to travel so far. He has a responsibility, but they're playing a little deep, okay? The weakness, which is the main thing, and this is what I'm talking about. The defense in cover 3 becomes a little vulnerable to the short passing route because the cornerbacks are balling out of their usual positions to play deep in the zone. While cover 3 provides a good balance between the run and pass, it is not particularly strong in either area. Good offensive teams will be able to recognize the cover 3, change the play out of the line of scrimmage, and call an audible, capitalize on the weakness of the defense and facing a short running team. The cover 3 would be less than ideal unless he has great strength in the trenches. The common term for defensive line positions for a weak balanced defensive team. The cover 3 is a solid scheme that can work against the run and pass. Seattle during that time did not have a problem with folks running the ball because now we get into the defensive line that they had, and they had Bobby Wagner as a linebacker, a young Bobby Wagner. So they really had no weaknesses. Right here, you had Sherman here, you had Brown here, you had Earl here. Cam Chancellor stayed in this area here in the box, and he could guard tight ends. They were loaded. So based off of what you just saw, the weaknesses, okay, and you just saw, and I just named you our cornerbacks, all right? Our cornerback, Richard Sherman, could not play man as well. But in the cover 3 defense, where he could zone up on you, he was a first-team All-Pro. Our guys, and like I said, this is what Dan Quinn made. Our guys are not zone quarterbacks, at least in my view. He has this secondary kind of built just like he had with Seattle. Here's my question. I want to see what y'all say. I got enough people here, and we'll close it up after this. Are we ready to go to a cover 3? I just showed you what the cover 3 defense is. I just showed you that. And then based off the personnel that we have, do you really? Are we a cover? I mean, are we even? And see, we don't know because Dan won't talk about it, and he shouldn't talk about it. But are we good enough inside from the defensive line position to even be entertaining, perhaps, a cover 3 defense? We might see bits and pieces of it. You know, it's 3rd and 18 and 3rd and 14. I'm quite sure this will happen then. But the Seattle Seahawks used that as a primary. That was their primary defense. So, and I see the personnel that's developing, and it's almost starting to slowly look like the teams from Seattle on defense. It's starting to resemble that. It's starting to resemble it. So my question is, if he had those guys playing in Seattle, a cover 3 defense, and they, of course, during that time, we all know that Seattle was the number 1 defense in the league. We all know that. Do y'all see us going to a cover 3 in opposed to since you got Gilmore and Diggs, are we going straight man on them? Because there ain't gonna be too many double teams. You ain't gonna get too much safety here. That's where you can rush more passes. See, here's my opinion, and I brought it up because I think it's a real good question. That is the defense that took him to the dance when he was in Atlanta. Those guys ran the cover 3. So all he did was just different places. What happened? He went to the Super Bowl. He went to the Super Bowl with Seattle playing it. He went to the Super Bowl with Atlanta playing it. And I'm saying our guys are more of a man-to-man defense. Kelvin Joseph is a better man defender. Diggs, man-to-man. Gilmore. And I believe Gilmore can do both. You know what I'm saying? I just know Diggs is such a gambler that, he best be playing, playing man-to-man. But Gilmore can do it all. And because he can do it all, and because he has lost, some folks say he lost a step. Okay. If he's lost a step, then should he be considered the Richard Sherman of the group? That you now say, well, we ain't trying to put you in man-to-man. We're going to zone you up. You're good enough. Gilmore is good enough to play the Richard Sherman role. And instinctive enough to still get his stats. I don't think he do, I ain't saying Gilmore still was a Pro Bowl cornerback last year. Gilmore can do it all. The question is, has he lost a step? That's really the only question with Gilmore. Are folks really, will they consistently get behind him? So my question tonight, and y'all ain't saying nothing. It is other than Eastside Harold with his hate tail. So, it's all, we ain't talking about that. He ain't even a factor. But anyway, do you see us entertaining, or do you think it's in the mind of Dan Quinn to really implement that cover 3 scheme? That's what I want to know. You Cowboy fans in here now, that's what I'm really looking for. Hey, Light Bright on Podbean, I see you. That's really what I want to know tonight, because we have the talent. We got that. The talent is there. But we're talking about it's kind of like the offense. You got to have the right scheme. Do we let our guys just go man to man primarily? That is our base. Or do we go with the scheme that brought Super Bowls or one Super Bowl and 2 Super Bowl appearances to Dan Quinn? Let's get it. He didn't get the job done in Atlanta as far as winning it all. And he didn't win that year when New England beat him again on that last second play. But he did put 3 teams in the Super Bowl. I think this is worth thinking about. If you ask me what I think gonna happen, I think that because of the way Diggs played man to man, and we just got to see how Gilmore responds. If Gilmore is somewhat Gilmore that we know, I think that we're gonna see a lot of man defense with the zone concept there. Depending on the down and the distance. That's what I believe is going to happen. I believe that if it's a big, our defenders should be so good rushing the passer, we should get pressure just from a front 4. We may not need to blitz extra. Parsons by himself is a problem. If D Law is D Law, then that's the other one. Sam Williams is going to be a problem this year. Armstrong is going to be a problem. I'm saying just the front four. I ain't got to in the interior, which is OC getting in. I mean, we could generate pressure just from the front four. And if you're dropping 7 back, are you dropping them back? You know, let's just say it's 3rd and 14, 3rd, 14 plus. I believe this is when we'll see the cover 3 come into play here. And I believe that was going to make us even more dangerous because we're really just sitting back, letting everything come. And somebody going to jump one of them things. Somebody going to jump one of them things. That's what Diggs does. That's what Gilmore has done over the years. That's what Donovan Wilson has done as well, who's a ball magnet himself for interceptions, as we all know. This is where the fun comes into play. This is really where the fun comes into play. And I believe we're going to get tested, considering that we're going against the whole AFC East this year. You know, we got our division is loaded. Philadelphia, of course, is loaded. Washington is loaded. The Giants have gotten better. If they, you know, they got Darren Waller as a tight end. He stay hurt, but you know when he plays, he's pretty good. They also have the kid from Tennessee, University of Tennessee, Jalen Hyatt, the wide receiver. Those that watch college football, if you don't know his name, the kid that wore number 11, the wide receiver, who always seemed to get behind everybody, always can run after the catch, getting behind. He's a rookie, but he's there. I don't know if he'll be starting. I don't know nothing about the Giants. I'm just saying our division alone has gotten better. But when you start talking about the San Franciscos, you start talking about the Minnesotas, you know, Justin and Thielen still there, and then the tight end kid from Detroit that was there. I forgot his name. Hawkinson, I'm sorry. Yeah, Hawkinson is there in Minnesota. That's dangerous. Detroit is a problem as receivers goes. I'm saying when you start looking at the NFC East, well, not the entire NFC, you got some guys that can hurt you, and that's why I feel like this secondary is the best in the league. We're gonna give teams a lot of problems there. I have no question in my mind. I have no question in my mind that this secondary is the best secondary in the entire NFL. Now, does that mean we win the Super Bowl? I ain't say that. I just said this secondary is probably the best secondary in the NFL. I have no question. I can't even be convinced because it's too much. Starters and bench wise, it's just entirely too much. I can't go against what I'm thinking. I've already told y'all they're gonna be a top 3 defense, and they got a shot. They got a shot of being number 1 this year. I really believe it. That's what I wanted to show y'all. That's all I wanted to tell y'all. This was an easy show for me because I really feel like we the best. As far as secondary goes, the entire secondary goes, I believe that we are the best. I believe it. And I believe this is what's going to separate us from everybody else because this secondary will make you pay. They're going to make you pay for throwing the ball. I believe we're going to lead the league in turnovers this year, as we just about did last year. We did the year before that. I believe that we're going to lead the league in turnovers this year. Number one defense in the league. Put it this way. If you are a fantasy football player like I am, the Dallas Cowboy defense may be your defense this year. You will give them consideration for your fantasy football team as your defense this year. Put it this way. If you don't, something wrong with you. Whether you're a hater or not, if you're playing in the league and want to win your league with a defense, you might want to consider the Cowboy defense this year. They're gonna get you some points. It's gonna be some points this year. I don't have no question in my mind. All right, I'm done. That's the show for tonight. I'll let you guys enjoy that. I'll do one or two calls. Eastside Harold, don't waste my time, sir. So I already know you just waiting on that, and God only knows what you gonna say. I guarantee you it ain't gonna be about nothing, but phone line is open for now. I'm gonna do about two calls, and I'm gonna shut it down. All right, phone line open, 901-654-6853. 901-654 6853. Greg Davis said they're going to lead in tackles and sacks. Tackles, and I'm going to even throw another name, Greg. I believe that the Cowboys are going to lead in tackles for loss. How about that one? I believe they're going to lead in tackles for loss as well. Of course, sacks is in there, but I'm talking about just running the ball. I think that really we're going to improve on this wall we get. I believe we're going to have guys in trouble.
Call from
Eastside.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I knew it was coming. Eastside Harold is in the building. Yes. Yes, sir. Welcome to the big time show of Eastside Harold. Let's see how
it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to have you come in. So,
I can get that coach more on time.
No, I doubt it very seriously.
Hey, sir, on October the 1st.
October 1st.
Guess what's happening? J.J. Watt is being inducted into the Texas Ring of Honor. He made it official today, so just to give you some good news on that front. But I was hearing, sir, what's funny, sir?
Man, I mean, like I really care about J.J. Watt, as if that was really,
man.
If that really is a surprise. I mean, we know he
made it official today.
Okay, well, good.
It was an announcement.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I
heard D-Hop, man. Yeah, D-Hop, man, he left Tennessee, man. So it's still hope. He had a meeting over there in your neck of the woods, and then he said he'll get back to him. So still hope out there.
We don't want D-Hop. You have him. Good. Okay, next.
Man, come on, brother. I just tell them to talk.
I mean, but you, look, you got to confuse, as I always say. This is not for you to come on and give the Houston Texans update. This is not that show. This is the big time show, as we primarily, as you already know, talk about the Dallas Cowboys. When you see this background that you're looking at right now, I don't see no Houston Texans nowhere in this background that's behind me at all. It's very simple. So I'm trying to figure out, why are you trying to fill us with a team that don't win no more than 4-5 games a year? What we want, what we care about the Houston Texans for? Can you hear me with that?
Hey man, it's Texas. It's football. It's very important. You know how ties in. But man, I just called to touch base with you, man. I was hearing what you were saying about Gilmore and all that. You know, Gilmore played on the Colts last year, right?
Yeah, great year. He was a Pro Bowl cornerback.
And
he was a Pro Bowl cornerback.
You know, the Texans play the the coach twice a year. So
They did.
yeah, you think I just be hating and calling in like I don't know what I'm talking about? I seen Cooks and I seen Gilmore.
Uh-huh.
And sir, what you guys are saying about these guys are just Jags. They got names. They still got names, but they're not the same player.
Gilmore, hold on. See, that's the part that you ain't making no sense on. And you did make sense on talking about that. Here it is. Gilmore, I say it again, made the Pro Bowl last year as a cornerback. That's the first thing you need to understand. That obviously means he was one of the better players at his position if he made the Pro Bowl, right? So he's a Pro Bowl. He just ain't a Jag. He's a Pro Bowl player. So let's get that right. Cooks has got 1,000 yards receiving with whoever y'all quarterback was last year. Mills? So
he didn't have 1,000 yards last year. He had 1,000 yards before with us.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. If he did all that, if he did all that with Mills, what the world you think is gonna happen when he get with that? I mean, just common sense. If he got 1,000 yards with Mills on a team that couldn't block, didn't have really a running game, really didn't have a defense, he still put up 1,000 yards. What in the world you think he gonna put up with that? What you think he gonna
put
do
up
with
1,000 yards before? He's been with the Texans a couple years now, so you act like he was just with the Texans.
He got 1,000 yards with the Saints. Everywhere he goes, he put 1,000 yards up, man. You know that.
Cooks, he has some highlights, Sam, sir. Nobody's disputing that. He gonna have some highlights. But you know what else he's gonna have? Do you want me to let you know and inform you? About to see a whole lot.
Let me know.
Oh, you about to see a whole lot of drops. You gonna see that in crucial spots.
Okay.
You gonna see a whole bunch of that.
Okay. We'll remain to be seen. We'll see.
Nah, it ain't no remaining to be seen. You gonna see it for sure. I promise you. Okay. If you might as well mark this down. What's today? 6/12/2023. Eastside told me this.
You know what else you gonna see? You gonna see some touchdowns too. How about that one? So you don't want to talk about that part. You gonna see that too, right? You do realize what team he on, right? You gonna see some touchdowns. So let's get that understood. A whole lot of touchdowns. So get ready for it. I wouldn't be surprised if he put up 1,000 yards. Easy. Because he ain't playing with Mills. He's playing with Dak Prescott. There is a difference. There is a difference between David Mills and Dak Prescott. You do realize that, right?
It is. They both throw a lot of interceptions.
Oh, okay. Thank you to Eastside here. As usual, I knew you weren't going to be talking a whole lot of sense. But I appreciate you always calling me. I heard you got banned from another show.
Hey, man, I was getting banned from Muslim. The true person, man. Hey, when you try to spread this good gospel,
yeah,
them heathens not going to want to hear it.
Oh, okay. All right, well, I appreciate you always popping in, Eastside. You know, you never talking about nothing, but I appreciate you always calling. Thank you so much for calling me in today. We'll see you next time, because I'm quite sure it is going to be a next time.
All right, sir.
Appreciate you. That was Eastside Harold. I always appreciate him coming in. He has an opinion. He just got mistaken identity. This is a cowboy type podcast. I could care less about J.J. Watt going into the Houston Texan ring of honor shoot. They ain't got nobody to put in. My God. The Texans been in the league for a while. Ain't nobody. We knew J.J. Watt was going to be up there, man. Good Lord. But who else they got? Anybody? Anybody? I mean, for real. Who from Houston, Texas? I mean, I don't even know the rest of the players. They were good for a time when Dalton was there. Well, Dalton played with Cincinnati. I'm sorry. They were good for a time when Deshaun was there, Hopkins was there. I mean, but they ain't talking about that. All right. I got time for one more call about this great secondary that we have. I'm already calling them great. 901-654-6853. 901-6853. Brian said, I didn't even know the Texans had a ring honor. He ain't got them a one member. I mean, shit. That big old state gonna have one jersey. Just one. One jersey. It's J.J. Watt. That's it. That's it. There ain't nobody else. One player. Houston Texans been existing in the NFL for at least over 10 years now. One player. And you can't name somebody else that's going in after him. You can't. Arian Foster had some good years. Arian Foster, the running back. Yeah. Eastside would be going crazy if he could find a Houston, Texas podcast. You're right. But it ain't nothing. You got all Eastside. I know you there. Eastside. Go just type in on Facebook. First of all, you should already be a part of the Houston, Texas fan club page, whatever they have. I'm quite sure there's one out there. You should join that and just see on their page if anybody on their page is doing podcasts. I mean, you would be a great guy for the Houston, Texas podcast. I mean, because you're a true fan. You know your team, even though you ain't never talking about nothing. You do know your team. And you know it briefly. Because by the time the third quarter get in, you watching the Dallas Cowboys. You just about know more about the Cowboys than you do the Texans. Because you watch us all the time. Every week. You the type that got a double screen on your TV. You watching the Texans game and the Cowboys game at the same time. Find you a Houston, Texas podcast. Matter of fact, I'm going to find them for you, Zach. You ain't got to do it. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find one. It's got to be something somewhere. It's got to be. Somebody's doing a Houston, Texas podcast. I'm going to find them for you and tell you who y'all, and then you can get in on it. All right? I got time for one more question. Y'all call, I'm gone. 901-654-6853. 901-654-6853. Somebody tell me, do you agree with me on my analysis of our secondary this year? I believe it's the strongest overall. I believe it's the strongest part of our defense this year. The secondary, it will be our strongest position. No question in my mind. The strongest position this year will be our secondary. All right. And when you look at the field, when you look at all the guys plus the backups, Nashawn Wright, Kelvin Joseph, Jordan Lewis, Israel Makamuko, this kid Eric Scott, Bland. I mean, those are the guys that are not even starters. Those guys will start on other teams around the league. I mean, we're loaded. I ain't even got to the starters, Diggs, Gilmore, Donovan Wilson, Hurst, Malik Hooker. Good Lord. You add the rest of it, it ain't too many secondaries that's better than we are collectively. No way. So that's the reason why I have total confidence that the Cowboys defense this year will be no lower than a top 3 defense this year because of the secondary. the pressure from the interior guys and our pass rushers are gonna cause the quarterback to throw it out quickly. I believe our guys gonna get their hands on the ball a whole lot, whether it's interceptions or pass breakups. I just feel like that. I just think we're too good, secondary wise. I think that this is the best secondary in the NFL. No question in my mind. That's my analysis on it. For those that will watch this a little bit later on, if you, even though it won't be live at the time you probably watching this, you can comment, and I will see your comments, and I will respond to your comments if you do comment on it. Okay, so don't worry about if it's not live. I will get the comments, and I will get with you. If you're watching this by Facebook on the replay or whatever, you still can use the stars. If you're watching this by YouTube, by the Big Time Show YouTube page, you can do the super chat as well. I would appreciate all of that. I appreciate the view. Hey, you guys that are in here, if you don't mind, again, share, if you will, with it. Share this out. That's how the podcast grows. If you share it, you don't have to do the super chat. You don't have to do the stars. If you just share it, that would help me out tremendously just to put it on out there. Okay? I really would. Appreciate it. All right. I'm done. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll be with you guys sometime before Saturday. Turn on those notifications. I will be coming on in the morning. In the morning times as well. Turn on those notifications and we should connect that way. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. Put your hands together in here. I need to see one good clap emoji. I need to see at least one good one. And then I'll get out of here. Y'all know how we leave. We leave out grooving. Leave out happy. Y'all ain't got to do it. I'll clap myself. Yeah, I love it. But see, I'm fired up about this secondary. I'm fired up about this defense. I don't even need I clap myself. There you go, Joe. Joe joined in on with me. We can get out of here now. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a reason to get hyped. This defense is going to be special this year. I believe that. Until then, next time, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Big Time Show.